YouTube gets to see me in my most natural form, frequently. We have a heat index of 97 Fahrenheit right now. I don't know what that is in Celsius. It's just freaking hot, okay? I just did 3 miles outside, then I came home, did some stuff in the yard, and now I'm filming. And I didn't feel like getting cute. Anyway, let's get down to it. We are here for my monthly report, what I watched in August. Okay, to kick things off, I watched Basket Case from 1982. I had a very lucky situation in which I didn't know a single thing about this movie. I didn't even read the description. I just went in totally blind, and that made for a really great experience. This movie was awesome. I loved it. It was hilarious, and this is one of the first times where I really actually enjoyed New York as a setting. But Basket Case was a blast. I would recommend it to anyone who, I'm probably the last person in the world to see it, but I would highly recommend it to anyone who loves cheesy 80s. So then I rewatched Fatal Frames, which is one of my favorite Jolly, and I really started wondering about Rick Genasi. He had this sort of amateur way about him, yet he was still kind of a good actor. Anyway, I wanted to find out more about him. So I found he was in this movie called Mutant Hunt from 1987. And I was like, let me watch Mutant Hunt. This was me randomly dipping into cheesy, low-budget sci-fi, and I freaking loved this movie. It was hilarious. It was just awful, but in the best way. The acting was so weird. The fight scenes were so slow. I felt like I was watching like an episode of the Power Rangers or something, but it was so good. I mean, this is precisely the type of movie I would like to be in. Next, I watched Obsession, A Taste for Fear. One of you guys was asking me about it in the Discord. But yes, I finally sat down to Obsession, A Taste for Fear. Now, this was a 1988 Giallo. And I'm pretty sure it was recommended to me because I love Fatal Frames. Visually, the two are very similar. We get a lot of smoke and fog and a lot of colored lights and shadow. This was breathtaking. It was just my style. I loved it. Except it also had this like 80s high fashion glamour to it. This movie was bomb. It almost is taking place like in the future or in another reality or something, so it has a little bit of a sci-fi element to it, but it's very glamorous, and it is a Giallo, so there is a series of murders that are taking place that our main character is trying to get to the bottom of. This made it on my list of my favorite Jolly. Next, I decided to do some more Jean Rollin. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Some more French stuff. More Castell twins, so I went for Lips of Blood. It was really weird, kind of slow, dreamy, strange, but of course visually stunning. Now I know I was kind of hard on the nude vampire initially, but I think I do like the nude vampire more than Lips of Blood. Oh, did I say Lips of Blood is a 1975 movie? Okay, then I watched 1975's Trilogy of Terror with Karen Black, and I watched it because my friend Ari asked me to watch one part of it, a third of it, and I was like, well, I might as well watch the whole thing now. So I watched the last story first, and then I watched the first two, and I thought it was fine. I thought it was cool. It was all right. Karen Black is awesome, so it was cool to see a little bit of her. I don't know if I've ever seen anything with her in it before, so it was like revolutionary in its time, but I thought it was fun. I don't know if I'd like revisit it or anything. Next, I watched The Legend of Boggy Creek. This is a movie I've been hearing about forever because I'm into cryptozoology, Bigfoot, the paranormal in general. I'm into all of that. And then I've seen and heard so much about the actual Boggy Creek monster, but this movie is kind of fictionalized, but like mostly based on reality, right? So everyone was always talking about how influential this movie has been in their lives. So I finally sat down to watch it with my husband, and it was freaking good, and it was really scary. It was amazingly effectively scary for a rated G horror movie. This is a Bigfoot movie. And I think it was amazingly well done and such an interesting film in itself. Like the fact that we have several of the real life townspeople appearing as themselves in the movie was so cool, and just the whole low budget almost felt like a home movie, but it was still really good. And I was actually pretty scared. I've seen so many recreations of encounters on shows like Finding Bigfoot, but they didn't really do it for me. But Boggy Creek, I think, did a great job at bringing the Bigfoot phenomenon to life. Next, I watched, finally, Four Flies on Grey Velvet by Dario Argento from 1971, which is weird because it seemed to me to be more like 1975. But anyway, it was really good. I thought the characters were all fun and interesting. The story was good. Mimsy Farmer was great. Whoever the lead guy was great. It was a fun time. It wasn't really his strongest work, but I think it's a great, solid installment into the genre, as I would say. Next, I rewatched Valerie and Her Week of Wonders, which is listed as one of my top 4 favorite movies on Letterboxd. I love this movie. It's just beautiful, so it was due for a rewatch. Next, I watched They / Them. I was really excited. I was so excited. I watched the trailer like 8 times, waiting for this movie to come out. I was so excited because Kevin Bacon looked so good, and I was like, he's gonna be back at camp, and we're gonna have this like inclusive cast where all these different kinds of people are being represented, and it's just gonna be so cool. It was a failure. I've watched a few reviews, and I pretty much am in agreement with what everyone else is saying, so I'm not gonna spew the same complaints that everyone else already has, but this movie was just a mess. Next, I watched Sinister from 2012, because I've never seen it. We kept meaning to watch it all these years, and just never got around to it. So, I would say it was well made. It wasn't that exciting. It was just about this guy, like, researching stuff in his room. I thought the video footage of people getting killed was pretty cool. And I guess the overall story, like who the villain is pretty cool. But I thought I don't know, it was kind of like slow. Next, I watched Autopsy from 1975. More Mimsy Farmer for us today. This was a Giallo that was just absolutely brutal. I loved it. I loved the gore and the violence. It was just like a nasty, gritty, dirty Giallo that I really enjoyed. This also made it onto my top favorites list. We get some awesome autopsy footage, some awesome morgue footage, and it just really kept me guessing. The way it was written kind of had you like fooled a little bit, like you're wondering, is this person crazy? Is this person crazy? And you just don't know. So I thought Autopsy was excellent. Next, I rewatched Forbidden Photos of a Lady Above Suspicion, as one does. And then I rewatched Baby Oopsie, because I have not been able to stop thinking about Baby Oopsie since I first watched it. It's like haunting me. It is so good. So after the second rewatch, I elevated the rating from 4 out of 5 to 5 out of 5. That's straight up 5 out of 5. I'm gonna buy this soon. Like, it's perfect. It was a perfect comfort movie for me to return to because I was having a migraine and I just wanted something cozy, and I put on Baby Oopsie and cuddled up in the bed, and it was just so good. My cat thinks I'm talking to him. It was just so good. Then I was in the mood for something like bizarre, so I watched Furry Nights from 2016, which I think really should have been called like Night of the Furries or Revenge of the Furries. So I don't know why it's called Furry Nights. It was pretty good. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. It was just like fun, mindless, stupid horror. So that was okay. That was pretty cool. I got this recommendation from a video that Sweet and Spooky did with Bloodbath TV, where they were talking about bizarre Tubi horror. And finally, I did not finish strong. There's this movie that I saw on Letterboxd that somebody else had watched, and the cover of it was so pretty. And I was like, I want to do a photo shoot based on that cover, but first I have to watch the movie. The movie was called Skullduggery, and this was painfully boring. I mean, they/them sucked, but at least it wasn't boring. Skullduggery, like, I wanted to turn it off so many times. I ended up just letting it keep playing, and then I went and started cleaning the house and shit. What was it even about? I don't know. It was bad. And there we have it. That is what I watched in August. Did I run through this too fast? I don't know. I feel like I could have elaborated more, but I like blasted through. I just gotta do these intuitively, so sometimes they don't turn out that great. Anyway, have you seen any of this stuff that I watched this month? Or what's the best thing you watched this month, or the worst thing you watched this month? Don't watch Skullduggery. And you know what? Don't even bother with they/them if you haven't seen it. Watch a couple reviews. In conclusion, the best things I watched this month were Autopsy, Boggy Creek, Obsession, A Taste for Fear, Mutant Hunt, and Basket Case. Ciao for now, but let me show you my cat. And also my very messy space. Look at this. He's my filming partner. Say bye-bye.